In a room that screams, "You're being watched," our boy Kwon Daegun stands as the last man standing. Literally. But the party's just getting started. A new challenger, some red-headed hotshot, strolls up, not for a fight, but for a talk. Itchy why? Kwon Daegun. Why don't we go over there and have a talk? Come to think of it, we don't know much about you. Who you are, where you came from. Yeah, right? Like this is some friendly neighborhood welcome party. The woman pulling the strings nearby is clearly bored of this charade, ordering her subordinate to increase the volume. This isn't a conversation, it's an interrogation. But our boy isn't playing their game. I don't need to listen to it. He cuts in, his voice dripping with ice. The power dynamic just shifted. Daegun's mind flashes back to another night, another setup. That time, they used an innocent girl as bait to lure him out. I even forgot her name, he recalls, a protective edge to his voice. But she's different from you thugs. She's a pure kid. That statement wasn't just a warning to his enemies. It seems to have struck a chord with the girl herself. Back in the present, he levels that same contempt at the crew in front of him. People who planned this, or decided to participate, are just sewage trash. He declares it with utter disdain. Being all bad in our own junkyard is one thing, but being blind about yourself and not knowing that you're trash, trying to act all high and mighty, that's a different thing which needs filtering. That declaration makes the woman in the back's eyes widen. Daegun is laying it all on the table. In order to restrain us from getting outside our own little circle, the dirtiest, will be the filter. The redhead is officially triggered, a nasty grin spreading across his face. So, what you're trying to say is you want to see who's the dirtiest, huh? And before the words even finish echoing, another player in the shadows reveals a blade. And just like that, it's on. A guy with a knife tries a sneak attack from behind. Big mistake. You leave me with no choice. Daegun roars. In a blur of motion, a vicious kick sends the knife wielder flying like a rag doll. Immediately after, he becomes a storm of fists and elbows, completely overwhelming the red-headed punk. This isn't a fight. It's a one-sided demolition. Every move is precise, brutal, and efficient. A block, a grapple, a kick. His body is the ultimate weapon, forged for combat. The onlookers barely have time to gasp before the chaos is nearly over. Kwon Daegun, you fucker. The redhead lets out one last defiant roar, only to be answered by another crushing blow. With a final, decisive strike, the room falls silent. The dust settles, and only Daegun remains standing, the calm and terrifying eye of the storm. Just as Daegun proclaims himself the dirtiest, a calm female voice cuts through the wreckage. In my eyes, you're all the same, she states flatly. You guys are all trying to solve everything with your fists. That line hits like a splash of cold water, dousing the fire of his recent victory. But the real twist is just walking through the door. A guy in a gray suit enters, carrying a completely different vibe. The defeated redhead is furious, screaming, "What are you doing? You said this will be a fight between bosses." The suit-wearing newcomer responds coolly, "You'll have the chance to fight him one-on-one. The top rankers will strain out Kwon Daegun, and you'll be the one to finish him off." What? So that's how it is. This whole so-called showdown was a trap from the very beginning. A carefully orchestrated gauntlet designed to wear Daegun down, making him an easy target for the final boss. The pawn who just got played looks like he's seen a ghost. And the real enemy, without a sound, has already taken down another unsuspecting player. Who the hell is this new guy? The pressure he gives off is on another level, the unmistakable aura of a top-tier predator. He seems to sense he's being watched, pausing for just a fraction of a second. A real, no-holds-barred battle. Feels like it's only just begun. At this moment, the Foundation's woman lays some truth on Daegun. She looks at him with a hint of disdain. I wouldn't have picked you if I was just going to make a king in the first place. A king shouldn't just have strength. Her words are like a key, unlocking another layer of the entire project. They didn't need a simple brawler. They needed a pawn capable of stirring the pot. And that girl used as bait? Her part in this play is over. They mercilessly break her wrist just to test Daegun's reaction. I thought there was a thing between them, or something. The enforcer thinks to himself, cold as ice. This whole thing is just a brutal, twisted audition. The story then shifts focus to the suit-wearing guy who was just taken down. 2 months ago, he was at the absolute bottom of this school's food chain. A human sandbag, a slave, treated like trash. But while everyone else saw nothing, one person saw something different in him. He was used as a great sandbag, trained by taking beatings day in and day out. A shot to the liver, a blow to the head. He took it all and gritted his teeth. Wow, this guy sure can take it. Huh. His tormentors marveled, completely oblivious to the fact that they were forging a monster. until a long-haired man appeared and gave this sandbag a chance. You, pull a punch, he commanded. Though trembling with fear, under that absolute pressure, he threw the first punch of defiance in his life. That punch, clumsy as it was, landed. The enraged opponent grabbed him by the collar, screaming, "Do you fucking want to die?" But the mentor was calm. "You too," he said simply, "fight." And so began a battle for survival and dignity. The mentor instructed him, "Remember, pull the punch." Despite the fear consuming him, he knew this was his only chance to shed the label of sandbag. He had to win, even if his opponent was a so-called mid-ranker who looked down on him. "What about dodging?" he asked nervously. The long-haired man replied coolly, "Just try your best." And so, he threw the punch. But something strange happened. His opponent went down before the fist even connected. The crowd was stunned. What? He didn't even get hit. He himself was in shock, the realization hitting him like a truck. "I hit a person. I also won," he whispered to himself. The long-haired man grabbed his collar, getting in his face with a sharp gaze. "How is it?" The taste of winning. A smile spread across his face, a genuine, intoxicating smile. "It's refreshing." And with that, the beast inside him fully awakened, and he unleashed a devastating punch. He himself never knew he possessed such a raw, primal desire for victory. Every punch thrown, every opponent crushed beneath his feet, filled him with an exhilarating rush he'd never felt before. This primitive thrill was transforming him from a mere sandbag into a true fighter. And that long-haired man? He had been searching for someone just like this. Standing atop a mountain of defeated bodies, he declared, "I found him, the main character." The scene cuts back, and he's found our real protagonist, Kwon Daegun. "So you're Kwon Daegun." A fateful encounter is about to unfold. Kwon Daegun flashes a confident, almost playful smile, the scar on his neck a subtle reminder of his past. "Nice to meet you." His eyes say it all, calm and assured, as if announcing that he's taking over their little game now. The title appears, "The Bully I in Charge." A new storm is about to make landfall. Scene change. Daegun is geared up in tactical wear, facing a new, massive opponent. This guy looks like a seasoned brawler, and his mouth runs a mile a minute. "Yo, you look like some secret agent from a movie. Is this mission really worth the pay?" So cute. Faced with such flippant taunting, Daegun's eyes turn to ice. "Just stare at me, and come at me already." Daegun's eyes glow red as he enters his combat state. He calmly analyzes his opponent's vital spots, planning to repeat his last strategy. Bait the enemy into attacking his head, and then, I avoided it. Just as the big guy thinks he's landed a hit, Daegun vanishes like a ghost. Backspin elbow and sand spray. Daegun's attack is as clever as it is effective. An elbow to the face, followed by a cloud of dirt to blind him. The opponent roars, trying to grab him, but finds himself completely outmaneuvered. "Oh, so easy." The giant laughs from the ground, seemingly unfazed and even enjoying the assault. His thoughts drift back to the man who rose from being a sandbag. "How are you any different from back then?" The man had challenged him. But now, Daegun is back with a whole new aura, a stronger, colder bully in charge. An old acquaintance greets him with a smile. "Since you're here, it must mean you defeated all of the top rankers." The former sandbag opens up to him. "Until 2 months ago, I was a sandbag, but I just complied and survived." He tries to apologize for their previous conflict, but Daegun just walks past him calmly, as if saying the past no longer matters. "I resented the ranking system that made me like that," he says with a pained laugh. "You're kind." Daegun turns away coldly. "I wasn't asking for comfort." His own past is a deeper, darker memory. Beaten, helpless, he eventually told himself, "These are no one else's fault but yours." He understands that primal pleasure of transforming from the oppressed to the oppressor. The feeling of paying back the pain you received 100 times over. It's a poison, but it's also proof of one's power. And he's been immersing himself in it. "I guess I'm just fixated on my desire to rise," Daegun tells him. "So I can't stop myself from wanting to win." He proves his worth by defeating one strong opponent after another, each step taken over someone else's broken body. This is the path he has chosen. And that former sandbag, he craves victory just as much. He yearns to defeat Daegun, believing it will make him stronger than ever before. He is betting everything he has on this single fight. "But I figured out already," Daegun thinks to himself. His opponent believes he's finally found an opening, landing a solid punch to the face. "I reached you this time," he shouts in excitement. But for Daegun, this was all part of the plan. In that split second, the opponent's eyes fill with shock and terror. What was that just now? He couldn't even track the movement. Daegun moved like a black bolt of lightning. appearing before him in an instant. A heavy kick shatters his hopes completely. "I'll reach you." Daegun's voice is the proclamation of a reaper. Daegun sheds his jacket, revealing a physique honed for battle. He speaks frankly. "To be honest, I don't feel like I need to fight you properly." His opponent is provoked. "Don't get me wrong. I just want to step on you and climb to the next step." Daegun explains the source of his strength, that pure desire for victory. His opponent admits he has better eyes than most, able to spot opportunities in a split second. "But if I can find a way to beat you," he says with determination, "I think I can get stronger than ever before." Later, relaxing in a bathhouse, Daegun reflects on this feeling. "I feel like I'm going to reach a pinnacle of sorts," he muses, fascinated by the sensation of being completely immersed in something. His friend teases him. "You're like an idiot. But it's good that you can feel such great abilities just through fighting." "There are too many fun things in the world," his friend reminds him. "Fighting is fun too, but only to a certain extent. We call it immersion, being so into something you lose track of everything else. If you keep immersing yourself like this, it's a warning." Facing his opponent and listening to his lecture about losing what's important, Daegun scoffs. "That sounds like something a strong person would say to someone insignificant," he retorts coldly. "You can say that after you've proven that you're stronger than me." The opponent is provoked. He looks down on Daegun, taunting, "Don't you think that shows you're weak? Did I hit the nail on the head?" The tension between them is stretched to its breaking point. "All right, I'll fight you with all I've got. Just like you wanted." The opponent roars and charges. But in the next instant, he's hit by an irresistible force that leaves him completely stunned. He didn't even see Daegun move. In a split moment, he moved into my blind spot. The opponent thinks in shock but still tries to sound tough. It's futile though. But then, Daegun's voice echoes in his ear, "My eyes don't have a blind spot." Ow! That was the last thought to cross the former sandbag's mind. Daegun's assault was a relentless storm, each blow packed with overwhelming power. He was utterly crushed, with no chance to fight back. However, his opponent's tenacity was beyond his expectations. Daegun could clearly see his movements, but his body couldn't respond. "I have to respond." In this desperate corner, he burns the last of his willpower. This is it. He finally seized his chance, throwing a punch with every last ounce of his strength. This was all of his hope concentrated in one blow. "I need just one like this." He screams internally, tears welling in his eyes. But that one punch left him wide open. Daegun easily parried the attack and delivered a fatal counter. Lying on the ground, the opponent's consciousness began to fade. Daegun looked down at him, a sudden realization dawning on him. "Would I have become the same as you?" That's when I realized that I was too immersed. "It's good that I hit you," Daegun says calmly, crouching down. When you're not in your right mind, you need a person to hit you. An image of someone else flashes in his mind, someone he couldn't wake up in time. "It's already too late for me," that voice once told him. "But you can still wake up." Daegun's overwhelming victory leaves every spectator in shock. Was Kwon Daegun always this strong? They can't believe their eyes. The woman from the foundation watches coldly. He overcame the traps you put so much effort into. And now your player is down too. What are you going to do next? Elsewhere, the man who was defeated is now being crushed under the heel of his former superior. Faced with the threat of having his face smashed to pieces, he just smirks coolly. "I'm lying on concrete right now. Are you sure your fist won't be the thing that shatters?" That deep-seated arrogance hasn't faded one bit, even in utter defeat. However, the only answer he gets is more brutal violence. What's going to end in pieces? Fists rain down on him, each blow an explosion of pain. His eyes fill with terror as he finally understands the insurmountable gap between himself and a true monster. Meanwhile, an unexpected figure appears. A red-haired man in tactical gear finds another red-haired young man in trouble. "It's been a while, brother," he says. But the young man refuses his help. "Don't worry. I'm not expecting any help from you. I ended up in such a state because I'm weak. I left all the burden on a friend." This young man, Manhwa, yearns to master the so-called ultimate skill, to become as strong as his brother. He's been diligently training the basics, like grip strength and distance control. But his brother just watches him coldly, as if to say, "Do you really think a shortcut can make you like me?" "You know me well," the brother says with a smile. "Then, why are you hoping for a shortcut?" That question hits Manhwa like a bolt of lightning. He hastily tries to defend himself, but his inner turmoil is already laid bare. "Trust yourself. Be yourself, no Manhwa." The brother leaves him with these cryptic words and walks away. And those words seem to become a prophecy, because not long after, Manhwa is on the ground, unconscious. The scene cuts back to Daegun's fight. His opponent taunts him for struggling for a whole minute. But Daegun just smirks. "So, I can turn you to pieces now, right?" Thanks for waiting. Before the words even register, his counterattack has begun. The opponent has no time to react before he's completely overwhelmed. Daegun's boot presses down hard on his face. The once mighty ace is now lying on the floor like a stray dog, without even the strength to struggle. This is the absolute difference in power. A soccer kick. From this height, it'll be deadly. The opponent screams in terror as he plummets through the air. But Daegun shows no mercy. A devastating kick from above slams him into the ground. This single blow not only shatters his body, but also completely breaks his spirit. The fight is over. Daegun stands in the rain, as calm as if nothing happened. But his friend, Manhwa, has been dragged into another mess. He's surrounded by a group of thugs, and the situation is critical. Manhwa, behind you! His friends scream a warning. A normally quiet female classmate snaps, grabbing her school bag and smashing it into a huge thug, yelling, "Die, you monster!" In extreme situations, everyone reveals their most primal side. Let's go save Jaijin. Daegun springs into action the moment he gets the news. And all of this is being monitored by the Foundation. Everything's over, the woman says from the command center. My underclassmen have received a nice education. Her tone is cold, as if she's watching a play that has nothing to do with her. A figure from the Foundation makes a tempting offer to Daegun's rival. Don't you think you could learn more from me? If you use Bonjun's network and system, we can go further beyond just Taejun. You must aim higher. Ambition, it seems, is the best motivator. They compare their target to an apple that's too high to be reached. An apple that's just too good to be left alone either, the man says with a smile. But you don't necessarily have to pick it yourself. His words are laced with manipulation and conspiracy. Now, you use Kwon Daegun, just like I tell you, to... He instructs the woman from the Foundation. They found a strange fellow, a boy who seems completely uninterested in all the power struggles. While everyone else is staring up at the apple in the tree, he alone keeps his head down as if none of it concerns him. I thought this person could get me the highest apple, the planner recalls. He had placed his hopes on Daegun, but Daegun chose a completely different path. Instead of picking the apple, he kicked down the entire tree and stomped on the fallen fruit. He was never interested in anyone's handouts. But the boy who was indifferent to everything, he willingly accepts an apple handed to him. He doesn't even glance at the ones on the ground. Aren't you curious? A voice asked from behind him, full of amusement. A new order is given. Tackle Lee Sung-hoon, the planner commands. This boy, who has stayed on the fringes of the power games, is now the new target. A hunt specifically for him is about to begin. This guy, Lee Sung-hoon, is definitely no saint. He's seen chasing a girl down the hallway, acting like a total creep. But just as he's getting cocky, an iron fist descends from nowhere. It's Kwon Daegun. Just you wait. You'll pay for this, he sputters, but before he can finish, Daegun grabs him by the hair, pure terror written all over his face. With zero effort, Daegun lifts him up and slams him into the floor. The impact sends a shockwave down the hall. The students watching are frozen in fear. This is the absolute power of the bully in charge. The leader who's behind all of this. Lee Sung-hoon screams out a crucial piece of information in desperation. Daegun just smirks. Oh, is that so? Just as Sung-hoon thinks he has a final trump card and pulls out a knife for a last-ditch attack. Daegun is already one step ahead. A clean, swift kick sends both him and his pathetic little knife flying. Some of the onlookers coldly mutter the word mop, while others rush to help the terrified girl. The entire spectrum of the school's social ecosystem is on full display. Afterward, Daegun coldly interrogates the remaining lackey. Tell me what Bonyun has been up to lately. The sheer killing intent radiating from him prevents any thought of resistance. The girl he saved tries to approach and thank him, but his sharp gaze makes her flinch back. For Kwon Daegun, this is just the beginning. He's like a lone cleaner, executing his own brand of justice in this rotten school using the most violent means necessary. There's not a hint of hesitation in his eyes, only cold, hard determination. Every punch he throws, every kick he lands, is like the declaration of a new world order. The old kings are nothing before him, and onlookers can only gasp. What? This single man is overturning the entire Taejun underworld all by himself. But upon his return to school, he's greeted by a hand pressing down on his head. Where the hell have you been? A challenger asks with a condescending smile. It seems there's always someone who hasn't gotten the memo, someone who wants to test the new king's authority. Faced with such a low-level provocation, Daegun's response is simple and direct. Get out of here. A single roar, accompanied by a heavy punch. The challenger flies backward like a broken kite. When dealing with trash, efficiency is key. The moment his hair is grabbed, something in Daegun's eyes shifts. It's the fury of a dragon whose reverse scale has been touched. He throws off the hand and clenches his fist. A new storm is brewing in the hallway. The result was never in doubt. Every attack the opponent throws looks like slow motion to Daegun. He effortlessly parries and counters with overwhelming force. A single precise kick to the head, and the fight is over. Daegun's fighting style is pure, violent artistry. Fast, precise, with no wasted motion. He's like a finely tuned killing machine, coldly dismantling anyone foolish enough to stand in his way. This guy? No. In the moment of his defeat, the opponent finally realizes what kind of monster he was facing. But it's too late. Kwon Daegun's fist is the one and only law in this school. His return has shaken up all the major players in the school, including the so-called Four Heavenly Kings. He's not at his level, someone says in terror. But a girl with glasses whispers, one of the Four Heavenly Kings. Strange. It seems Daegun's arrival has disrupted a much deeper game at play. A muscular, red-haired woman arrives with her crew, clearly the leader of some club. Leave the small bites, she announces with unquestionable authority. Mud Club Eraser 3 Midorikawa. Everyone, follow me. Looks like the politics in this school run much deeper than anyone thought. Daegun corners another key figure, pressing him for information. I'm sure that isn't the only thing you're curious about, he says, pressing a baton against the man's neck. However, you can ask about these things only after you've defeated me. That confidence, or perhaps arrogance, freezes the very air. The chaos he's caused has finally attracted the police. Flashing lights at the school gate, shattered glass, all signs of a massive storm. I told you that it wasn't your everyday problem. Call for backup. More. A man in a suit screams in panic. And our protagonist? He just watches it all unfold with cold composure. I'll find you again, so wait for me. Daegun delivers his final ultimatum. We can have a longer chat then, but it will be you who ends up in defeat. The red-haired woman watches him leave alone, shocked. Did he go by himself? Meaning, his actions are completely beyond anyone's predictions. In the middle of the chaos, Daegun's companions try to make their escape. However, Daegun spots a familiar vehicle, Director Lee's car. The eyes of the watchers have never left him. He decides to move alone, telling his companions to go on ahead. See you at school tomorrow. You worked hard today, boss, he says his goodbyes calmly, as if the chaos was just a light warm-up. The female students watch his departing back, calling out worriedly, please get home safe. A white Mercedes SUV pulls up beside him. Inside is the woman from the foundation. You had a good fight as soon as you came back, I see, she says. What happened there? You have to explain it to me in detail when we're back. Daegun just asks coldly, where are we going right now? The place you were staying at has been exposed. You can't go back, she drops a bombshell. So, you'll have to stay at my place for a while. Everything is happening too fast. Clearly, the plan has entered a new phase, one beyond his control. He's brought to a new location. This is a gaming room? Daegun asks, surprised. The woman stands before a bank of monitors and smiles confidently. You can't beat me at games, you know? No, look closely. This place isn't a game room at all. It's a high-tech command center. The woman finally reveals the whole truth to him. The Bully in Charge project was just a facade from the beginning. The actual plan was intended to focus on one person, the current chairman of the Jumryong Foundation. And to his greater shock, an unexpected person was added to this plan. A guy who disguised himself as a construction company employee is actually a key executive of the Mud Club. And I believe you know him, Daegun, the woman says. Park Hee-jun. This Mud Club appears to be a new, superior organization. Their ideology is completely different from the existing system. And Park Hee-jun is the key figure in this new power. The Foundation's goal is to figure out exactly what they're up to. Business isn't just about words. You have to prove it. The head of the Mud Club tells Park Hee-jun. And Hee-jun replies coolly, I'll prove it to you soon. This is a game between the old guard and the new power, and Daegun is caught right in the middle. So, all of this was just a bait to investigate the chairman. Daegun finally understands. If the project was a setup, then you've used me as bait too. He realizes the Foundation knew all along that he would cause chaos, and they used it to their advantage. The woman confirms everything. She explains that a new variable has emerged, Mud, and they're connected to the chairman and also monitoring Daegun. The original plan was to send Daegun directly into the Mud Club, but due to these new developments, they decided to terminate the project. The interaction between you and Park Hee-jun wasn't just some coincidence, she reveals. The Bully in Charge project is officially. She doesn't have to finish. Daegun gets it. From the very beginning, he was nothing more than a carefully placed chess piece. She asked for Daegun's cooperation to take down the chairman, and Park Hee-jun. But Daegun refuses coldly. No reason to do what you're telling me to. What those two are doing is none of my business. He's tired of being used as a weapon. What about the past that you've always wanted to erase? The woman plays her trump card. What if it's no longer the past, but something happening right now? She brings up the Mud Club, the organization that is intrinsically linked to Daegun's past. This one hits him right where it hurts. The Mud Club originated in Shinil, and his friend, Park Hee-jun, is there. It turns out a deeper conspiracy has been hiding behind everything. Another high-ranking member of the Foundation appears. He tells Daegun, "You'll prove it yourself, proving your superiority. A change of generations will occur. We're not just taking over the Mud Club's Taejun branch. Park Hee-jun once told his superior. We'll overtake it entirely." The young man's ambition is far greater than anyone imagined. And his superior, hearing this, just scoffs. "Boy, I've been thinking small." Now, the choice rests with Daegun. Will you neglect the past and run? The Foundation executive presses him, or take down the chairman and the Mud Club and settle the past? The decision is up to you. Daegun extends his hand, sealing a new deal with the Foundation. This time, he's no longer a pawn. He's a player at the table. He's going to end his past with his own two hands. It's just for taking him down, Daegun tells himself. That night, however, he's plagued by a nightmare. It's filled with the past he never wants to revisit, full of blood and betrayal. He struggles in his sleep, his forehead slick with cold sweat. A buried memory surfaces. One of his brothers died in what looked like a motorcycle accident. Bullshit. It must have been Shinel's doing. He and another friend swore at the funeral. But his friend tried to stop him. "Let's just stop. Are you running away?" The voice echoes in his mind. "You're always best at running away. Neglecting things at the most important moment. Don't you think this is just because of your half-hearted resolution? The one where you could neither hold on to nor let go of your power. Everything around you starts falling apart because you were weak." In his dream, he's struck down by his past self. The fear and helplessness he tried so hard to forget consume him once more. He wakes with a jolt to find the woman from the Foundation on top of him. "You look like you were having a nightmare. I was just trying to wake you up," she explains, a slight blush on her cheeks. Daegun realizes his aggressive posture and quickly apologizes. I'm used to instinctively taking a dominant position. I should be the one apologizing for my rough attitude." Daegun even gets down on one knee, offering a sincere apology. The cold, ruthless bully in charge reveals, in this moment, the gentleness and struggle hidden deep within him. The world will be different from tomorrow, Daegun thinks to himself. On the other side, the chairman of the Jumryong Foundation is getting a headache over some kid's fight, worried it'll hit the news and cause him to lose face. He has no idea that a real hurricane is heading straight for him. "The area might get a little messy, but we have a great cleaner," the chairman says nonchalantly over the phone. The cleaner he's referring to is none other than Kwon Daegun. He sees our boy as a convenient tool, completely underestimating just how sharp that tool is. A call comes in from the chairman, right to the Foundation woman's phone. New orders have been issued. Kwon Daegun's new mission is about to begin. The woman hangs up the phone and hands Daegun a brand new school uniform. This is his armor for his return to the battlefield. This time, he's not fighting for some fake project. He's fighting for himself. Meanwhile, the school is already buzzing with news of his impending return. His friends, and even his former enemies, are all anticipating his arrival. The king of Taejun is coming back. Conquered the first years in 1 week, defeated the 4 heavenly kings in Baeksuyak, crowned as the undisputed king of Taejun. A student excitedly recites Daegun's legendary record. They've even prepared a welcoming ceremony. He has written history. We can't lose to them. The rival factions are also gearing up for his return. In the car on the way to school, the Foundation's agent tells him, the project will now not be only limited to Jumryong, but will also expand throughout Taejun. You'll just act like you're taking part. Daegun understands. A much bigger show is about to begin. They share a common goal, to expand the Bully in Charge project to the outside world. Daegun is filled with questions. Makes me wonder what's at the core of all this. But for now, all he can do is play along. And that'll be my job to uncover, the woman tells him. You just have to do as you're supposed to. The car stops at the school gate. The new Bully in Charge project has begun. Feels a bit weird entering school again, Daegun thinks, looking at the familiar campus with mixed emotions. Taejun, Jumryong High School. The moment Kwon Daegun steps back onto campus, things get a little out of hand. Students line up to welcome him like a conquering king, and the teachers are even rolling out the red carpet. Our boy is now, quite literally, the king of Jumryong. But he just walks past all this over-the-top pageantry with a cold expression, as if it has nothing to do with him. Students are buzzing all around him, some with adoration, others with jokes. But when a teacher tries to maintain order, screaming, someone has to control him. Daegun gives his answer with action. A clean, sharp kick, and the teacher hits the deck. Yep, the king is back, but his rules are the same as ever. Don't get in his way. However, the king's troubles aren't limited to his own school grounds. At the gates of another high school, the atmosphere is tense. Hanwol, Gwangwon, Hungwon, the bosses of several schools have gathered their crews. Those persistent bastards, someone yells, here for revenge, even after all that beating. It seems Daegun's first step to unifying Taejun is cleaning up the old guard who just won't learn. Faced with this mob, Daegun can't even be bothered with trash talk. While they're still yelling, he's already moved. Blinding speed, pinpoint precision. Before a club can even swing, its owner is sent flying. Seconds later, the ground is littered with bodies, and he's the only one left standing. This is what an absolute power gap looks like. Seeing this, the lead bruiser immediately changes his tune, excitedly declaring he'll make all of Taejun bow to him. But Daegun just coldly presses a hand on his head. 5 seconds. Disappear from my sight. His goal was never to be some gangster kingpin. He's just carrying out his mission, a mission that's getting more complicated by the day. The girls who witnessed it all whisper amongst themselves. He seems different, not as scary anymore. Maybe. The core of his strength hasn't changed, but his status and circumstances have been completely upended. He's no longer the dropout fighting just to survive. Back in the classroom, it's like he's holding court. King of Taejun, Kwon Daegun, is written on the blackboard. His followers are seriously discussing things like, with great strength comes great responsibility. Without you, Daegun, we are weak. The former bullies are now talking about duty and order. There's even a combat researcher seriously analyzing Daegun's fighting data. They're hungry to get stronger, eager to follow their new king. The entire power structure of Jumryong High is being reshuffled, all because of one guy's return. The researcher's conclusion is ridiculous. The key to our power enhancement project is baseball, but Kim Myung-jun, the white ghost, cuts right through the nonsense. Get to the point. What comes after becoming the king of Taejun? Huh. Daegun calmly gives an answer that sends a slight chill through the room. It's collecting money, ain't it? The mood freezes instantly. Daegun grabs Myung-jun by the throat, telling him to shut up. He makes it clear, the old days of shaking down kids for pocket change are over. But new problems are already cropping up. A mention of someone called the Queen and the mysterious disappearance of a key player, Baek Soo-hyuk. This chessboard is far bigger than he ever imagined. He starts giving orders like a real manager. Establish a countermeasure system. Find the missing people. He's not just a muscle anymore. He's becoming the architect of this new underground order. The Foundation gave him the stage, and now he's determined to find the truth behind the curtain. That business card from Biomo Construction, what's really hiding behind it? That man seems to be at the very beginning of all this. Daegun clenches the card in his hand. He knows that waiting might be the only way. Waiting for the enemy to show their hand. Trouble, however, never waits. A bald man appears, congratulating him on becoming king with an exaggerated tone, his words dripping with sarcasm and provocation. Daegun just finds his sun too bright, too lazy to even deal with such small fry. But he soon regrets it. The entire student body, boys and girls alike, starts chasing him like crazed fans. Grab him. What are you going to do after you grab him? I don't know. He's just running away. Our king is getting his first taste of the hardship of being an idol. In the chaos, a girl with glasses pulls him into an art room to help him hide. In the dark, cramped space, they end up pressed against each other. The girl's face flushes beet red, her heart pounds, and the atmosphere suddenly turns a bit romantic. The girl's friend seems to have gotten the wrong idea, even blocking the door with a mop and yelling. You two have a nice long talk now, leaving Daegun and the girl, who's blushing so hard she might combust, staring at each other. Awkward. I just wanted to thank you for saving me yesterday. The girl musters up her courage, breaking the silence. Turns out she wasn't some crazy fan, just someone who genuinely wanted to say thanks. Seeing her sincerity, Daegun's clenched fist slowly relaxes. But just then, Daegun's eyes sharpen. He spots 2 blurry figures on a nearby rooftop. He immediately grabs the girl's arm, pulling her in front of him. She's startled. WH, what are you doing? Just stay like this for a bit, he whispers, pinning her against the wall and shielding her with his body. He knows. They're being watched. And from a distance, someone is observing this entire scene through a pair of binoculars. This is no longer a high school game. On the rooftop, the watcher gets a call. Headquarters has made its move. The higher-ups are interested, and the southern branch is getting involved. The voice on the other end is cold and serious. A storm is quietly gathering around Daegun. And in another part of the city, in a dark room, someone is being choked out by a white-haired man in sunglasses, struggling in agony. The new enemy has shown its fangs. They are ruthless, merciless, and their power is yet unknown. A man with an eye patch looks down at the defeated soul on the floor, his tone ice cold. But now you can't even say goodbye to each other. This is their way, clean, efficient, leaving no loose ends. What Daegun is about to face are true professionals. Back in the school hallway, Daegun is still holding the girl, but his mind is racing. I can't get any more people involved in this. The girl, however, is completely oblivious to the danger, her heart fluttering. Is he going to confess to me? This massive disconnect in their thoughts adds a layer of comedy to the tense situation. Just then, another girl rushes over and stumbles upon this intimate embrace, instantly freezing in place. KK kissing, in school. Her brain just short circuits. A massive misunderstanding is born. Faced with the gossiping eyes and teasing remarks from the girls, Daegun just wants to escape. He's in no mood to deal with these teenage romantic comedy tropes right now, because a much bigger crisis is approaching. And sure enough, the red-haired woman from the rooftop shows up. She pretends to be worried about whether Daegun is hurt, but she's really just checking his condition. Do we have to steal the school's uniform and enter? Her partner suggests. That'll be fun, she replies with a grin. These two are clearly up to no good. This red-haired woman is freakishly strong. Without another word, she hoists Daegun over her shoulder and takes off running, yelling, "There's still so many things I want to do in Korea." The scene is just bizarre. Our boy, being carried away, has an expression that just screams, "Who am I? Where am I?" Right then, Daegun's phone rings. On the other end is his informant inside the enemy's ranks, and he's got bad news. They were taken out by a group called Eraser. Eraser? Daegun's expression turns serious. They'll be headed towards you soon. And they also use immersion. Now, this is a major problem. A mysterious organization with the same power as him, specializing in erasing targets. This has escalated far beyond high school brawls. After hanging up, Daegun gently pats the nearby girl's head, telling her not to worry. He knows he has to face this alone. He can't let his friends get dragged into a life-or-death battle like this. Looks like it's my job to make them come look for me. Daegun's gaze sharpens. He decides to go on the offensive, to set a trap and lure Eraser right to him. He turns down his friend's invitation to hang out, heading alone into a secluded alley. I have something to do by myself. His silhouette, long and stark in the setting sun, carries an air of determination and solitude. But of course, his friends follow him anyway, under the guise of studying together at the library. Daegun knows full well that if he gets ambushed here, they'll be dragged into it. But he has no choice. He'll have to play it by ear. The whole crew marches into the library's teen room. His friends are still patting themselves on the back for getting the school's top student to tutor Daegun, completely unaware that a storm is about to break. The Foundation contact calls again with even more shocking intel. The members of Eraser have been confirmed dead, and behind this organization, there seems to be a tangled web connecting back to the Foundation's own director and even an orphanage. The mystery deepens. As Daegun processes this information, he excuses himself to go to the restroom, leaving the study room. His friends are still joking about whether he has a stomachache, but he is already preparing to meet the real enemy. He walks deeper into the library, toward a dark corner where something seems to be waiting for him. Suddenly, click, the lights in the entire library go out. A power outage? No, someone deliberately threw the main switch. The trap has been sprung. A figure emerges from the darkness. They're here. A cold smirk plays on Daegun's lips. In that same instant, he strikes like lightning, sending the ambusher flying with a single punch. The fight is on. "You sure are late," the ambusher says, dusting himself off as he gets up from behind a bookshelf. "I almost fell asleep waiting." He seems completely unfazed by Daegun's strength. This guy is definitely the real deal. "Oh, really?" Daegun's only response is a dismissive sneer and an even more ferocious attack. Amidst a storm of flying books, two monsters who both wield the power of immersion begin a silent, savage battle in the quiet library. The huge commotion in the library finally alerts the people outside. But by the time they arrive, all they find is a chaotic mess. Daegun and his opponent have already vanished into the deeper darkness. This fight allows no spectators. One-on-one. No, it's one-on-many. More enemies pour out from the shadows. But for Daegun, this is just a warm-up. Every punch, every kick whistles through the air, precisely taking down one enemy after another. His movements are fluid, sometimes like a tiger descending a mountain, other times like a stalking cheetah. He uses the bookshelves for cover and leverage, turning the entire library into his personal hunting ground. This isn't a brawl anymore. It's an art form. A violent one. The original ambusher, the man from Eraser, finally faces Daegun again. It seems your understanding of immersion is still shallow, he taunts. However, Daegun simply answers with an even faster kick, sending him flying. Is your leg okay? Daegun asks, stepping on his opponent, looking down on him. His attacks may seem random, but they are precisely aimed to destroy balance and joints. Don't push yourself too much. His words are filled with absolute confidence and pressure. The fight reaches its climax. Every one of Daegun's attacks is heavy and powerful, leaving his opponent completely helpless. He's like a finely tuned fighting machine, calm, efficient, and deadly. Your advantage, that special immersion of yours, became useless in front of me, Daegun says coldly, looking at his defeated foe. Because you've never fought someone who also has it. This is your first time. Meanwhile, at the Mud Club in Southern Seoul, two men in suits are talking. They're from headquarters. They're ranked far above these country branches in Taejeon. Test him out, the man in sunglasses orders. And if you feel that he's useless, get rid of him. Daegun has no idea he's been caught in a power struggle at a much higher level. I've been climbing upwards constantly. The man from Eraser begins to tell his story. Each step of it was built on top of blood. When I came to my senses, it was already too late. He looks at Daegun with a complicated expression. I just wanted to give you a good punch so that you would come to your senses and not end up like me. Daegun ignores his sermon, coldly pointing out, your height is much shorter than someone I know. Before the words even finish, he attacks again. To him, an enemy's rambling is meaningless. Only fists speak the truth. During the fight, a blurry memory flashes through Daegun's mind. He seems to understand something. So it was like this. His eyes change, and the rhythm and power of his attacks shift along with them. It's like he's evolving again, right in the middle of battle. If the level of immersion is the same, there's no way I can lose, Daegun thinks to himself, filled with confidence. His technique, his experience, are all far beyond his opponent's. But he also senses danger. This guy seems to be hiding an ace up his sleeve. Just then, the red-haired woman bursts into the fight. I told you I won't stand by and watch. She stands in front of Daegun, ready to take the hits for him. So let's quickly beat him up and end this, Daegun replies calmly. The battle has just shifted from a 1v1 to a 2v2. Listen well, bad boy. The red-haired woman cracks her neck. Our synergy isn't just a simple 1+1. It's multiplication. As she speaks, a powerful aura erupts from her body, and a fist crackling with electricity smashes towards the enemy. This is a level of power that renders any defense useless. The enemy is sent flying by the punch, and Daegun seizes the opening, launching a relentless follow-up assault. Their teamwork is seamless, instantly turning the tide of the battle. The enemies are beaten back, completely unable to mount an effective counterattack. Under the combined assault of Daegun and the red-haired woman, they're like a small boat in a raging storm, on the verge of capsizing at any moment. I wasted too much time, Daegun mutters, looking at the two defeated figures on the ground. He knows this is just the beginning. He's dealt with the immediate problem, but the larger net behind it all is just beginning to tighten. Two of you. It's much better now that you're together. He looks at his newfound ally and the enemies before him, a playful smile on his face. It'll be a fun climb. The road to becoming the king of Taejeon is destined to be anything but smooth. The red-haired woman is in shock. Didn't you say he was harmless? The plan seems to have changed. Daegun just replies coldly. Nothing's changed. He is the sword, she is the shield. The tactic is simple. Bait, net, and reap. The hunt has only just begun. Daegun is faster than before. Every kick leaves an afterimage, making him impossible to track. His opponents cry out, he's gotten faster. That's right. He learns as he fights, gets stronger as he fights. This is Kwon Daegun, a monster that never stops evolving. Bait success. Daegun successfully lures an enemy into his trap, subduing him instantly with a fluid set of grappling moves. His fighting style isn't just brute force, it's backed by intelligence and technique. The battle has completely tilted in his favor. His enemies are crushed one by one, utterly powerless to fight back. The ambush in the library has turned into a one-sided slaughter. The king of Taejeon has proven, with overwhelming power, just who rules this city. Too slow. Daegun easily dodges the red-haired woman's feint, but his mind is analyzing their tactics. They're intentionally leaving openings. What are they planning? Even in the heat of battle, his mind remains perfectly calm. You'll never get out of this, the downed woman says with a twisted smile. I'm pretty strong, you know. Her mission wasn't to defeat Daegun. It was to hold him here. The real killing blow is yet to come. Just as expected, another man attacks from behind. But Daegun's reaction is faster, a quick turn and a heavy punch that sends the attacker flying. However, this momentary delay gives the downed enemy the opening they were waiting for. Sunbi, a blood-curdling scream. To protect his comrade, one of the men takes a fatal blow with his own body. Blood splatters. The sheer brutality of this fight is laid bare once again. Rage ignites within Daegun in an instant. He stops holding back, unleashing his full power without reservation. Punch after punch, he slams his enemy into the ground. Sweat drips down his face, his eyes filled with nothing but cold, murderous intent. The game is over.